from. I've got my FlyBear SR-72 Darkstar out here again. I'm just having a blast with it. I think this is flight number 14 in the last 2 flight sessions I've had with it. It's a fun little plane in stabilized mode, and I like B mode, which is, yeah, that's what I have it in now. Alright, so let's take it out here and launch it. I got my timer set for 5 minutes. Alright, launching. Okay, now if you play with the throttle a little bit and get it into a little high alpha state, this plane will just pivot around. Look at that. I think that looking at how well this gyro can keep this airframe in the air, going that slow with high alpha engaged in it, tells me that that is a pretty darn good airframe. It should be falling out of the sky even with the gyro, you know. The gyro can only do so much, and I think we've all flown planes that you know when you don't have a good airframe, right? Even with the gyro engaged, you get a little bit too slow, it drops a wing, spirals into the ground. But this one, look at that. This one, that is slow, man, in those turns and those pivots. And what I'm doing is just playing with the throttle a little bit. Sometimes you have to force the nose down so you don't completely stall it, but it will just pivot. That is really cool. I'm amazed that that gyro can keep it in the air. Look at that. Look at that. Turn that slowly. That's like a 3D plane making those turns, those flat turns like that so slowly. Yeah, so I think that the airframe, look at that. I think the airframe is really a good airframe. Just play around with the throttle, and I'm flying around at about 75% throttle most of the time, and then I just kind of back off of the throttle to get it to pivot, and then I force the nose down a little bit like there, get it to pivot, give it a little bit more throttle. That's a fun little plane in fully stabilized mode, in B mode. I think it flies better in B mode. It doesn't have as much of a nose high attitude all the time in the B mode as it does in the A mode. So I launch it and land it in B mode and high rate, and I don't even mess with the A mode anymore. Look at that. Look how that pivots around. That is cool. Now that I know this airframe is actually a really good airframe, if I have time, I may do something with it later on this winter. But that's a pretty fun little plane in this B gyro mode. It's really good in A mode. You know, if you're an absolute beginner, fly it around in A mode to begin with, and then high rate in A mode, and then try it in B mode, low rate, B mode, high rate. I think most people are going to like it best in this B mode in high rate. It enables you've got a better feel for it in the air. You know, you can feel the controls a little bit better in the B mode than you can in the A mode, and I think you can maneuver it better in the B mode like this than you can with the A mode. But that is amazing that you can make turns like that where it just pivots around so slowly like that, and it doesn't spiral into the ground. You know, it doesn't drop a wing and spiral into the ground. So yeah, I think it's a good airframe. I really do. And it's durable as all get out. If you haven't watched my maiden flight, I had it in 3D mode. I got inverted. I couldn't see the orientation because of the position of the sun, and it just hammered into the ground. I was just certain that when I went to go pick it up out of the dirt, that fuselage was going to be broken in half. You know, right there at the front of the wing plate. That's the weak spot. No damage at all. All I had to do was straighten out the landing gear and throw it back in the in the air again, so it definitely passes my durability test. That's a tough little airframe. Isn't that cool? All right, I'm gonna bring. I just had to show you guys that. I was getting ready to pack it up, and I was practicing with it on the flight before this one, and got it to pivot around like that really slowly. I was like, oh man, I gotta show this. That is just too cool. Oh, that's my best landing ever. Awesome. All right. So I'm having a blast with it. I've got, like I said, that was my 14th flight. The sun's getting pretty low in the sky, so I think I'm gonna call it quits for the day. But yeah, I wanted to come out and just fly it around and see how good the airframe is, you know. I mean, you can always change things and make them a heck of a lot better if you have a really good airframe. And I think this one is a good one. All right, that's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time in the Tinkerz Lab.